My HOA fined me for a fence I didn't even build, then tried to force me to remove trees I've had for 20 years. The letter came certified. I signed for it on my porch in my socks at 8:40 in the morning. Notice of violation. Unauthorized structure. $250. For a 6-foot cedar fence on my back property line I never built, never permitted, never touched. I called the management company before I finished my coffee. A woman named Denise said a drone survey flagged it during the spring sweep. I told her I hadn't built a fence. That's not really something I can speak to, she said. I just process what's flagged. I've lived in this house 20 years, in a subdivision called Heron's Landing, the kind of place where everyone waves and nobody locks their car. My husband Corbin and I bought it when our son Milo was 2. The 2 white oaks in my backyard were already 40 feet tall, planted before the HOA existed. I do home inspections for a living. I know how to read a problem. I asked Denise for the drone photo. It wasn't my fence line. It was my 78-year-old neighbor Yvonne's. I sent the plat map and the survey. Denise said she'd forward it to committee in 3 weeks. The 15-day cure period, she added, stayed in effect regardless. 11 days later, a second letter. Fine up to $750. A lien threatened if I didn't pay within 15 more days. I called again. There's no record of your email, Denise said, then quietly told me to CC the committee chair next time, that things that only go through her have a way of getting lost. My hands were actually shaking. Corbin wanted to just pay it. A lien shows up on a title search, he said, and we'd been talking about refinancing that fall. Paying it just proves the process works, I told him. He didn't argue. I drove to Yvonne's with my survey. Her nephew had put in a small utility fence that spring, and an HOA crew had offered to help move the posts. It wasn't even on my land. It sat 11 feet onto hers, and onto the HOA's own common green space. I paid the county surveyor $90 to confirm it in writing, and mailed the letter certified. Then a different letter arrived. Notice of landscape non-compliance, canopy obstruction. My 2 oaks and my magnolia, cited under an amendment I'd never heard voted on. 30 days to remove them. $100 a day, per tree. After that, $9,000 a month. My son built a fort in that magnolia at 7. Just cut them down, Corbin said. Not worth $9,000 a month. We're not losing the house over 3 trees, I told him, though I didn't fully believe that yet. Denise let it slip that the fence case and the tree case were flagged by the same contractor, Voss Grounds and Timber, the same trucks idling on the green space behind my house for months. Stapled to my tree letter, unrequested, was their own removal quote, $4,200, discounted, if scheduled before the deadline. She admitted she'd only seen that with Voss paperwork. I called a real estate attorney. Boring paperwork wins boring paperwork cases, she told me. Keep every receipt. That night I searched the state business registry and found Voss Grounds and Timber, one listed member, a man named Deacon Voss. 2 days later he showed up at my door in a company polo, uninvited, asking for an estimate walkthrough. I hadn't scheduled anything. I told him to leave. He looked past me at the trees like he was already picturing where the truck would park. I went to the next board meeting myself. The board president, a silver-haired realtor named Grant Ashworth, thanked me for my thoroughness and told me the tree deadline stood regardless. Do you have a relationship with Voss Grounds and Timber? I asked. They've done reliable work for years, he said. Nothing more to it. Then, almost as an afterthought, he mentioned that disputes like mine had a way of affecting how a street showed to buyers. Just something to keep in mind, if we ever decided to sell. A gray-haired woman caught me in the parking lot before I reached my car. Her name was Carla Jennings, she said. She used to be the HOA treasurer, before she resigned. I asked her why. She glanced back at the clubhouse like she was checking who might be watching. Not here, she said, and pressed a folded slip of paper into my hand. Call me tomorrow, somewhere you can talk. It turns out Carla Jennings had spent 3 years sitting on a folder of financial records with my board president's name written all through it. Full story is only on Spotify. Search LomuStories and follow.